So this video is to help introduce and set up your flip game. First, what we need to do is select the new button. Next, we'll call our project flip and change the viewport. So this is what the user sees to 1280 by 720 pixels. Remain in landscape, event sheet, and let's begin. Now this here, this white space is our gameplay area, while this is the whole window. So we want to make sure the white space matches what we have in the dotted line, because this is what our user is going to see at any given time. So in order to do that, we're going to go here to the right and select Layout 1, which is what this white space is. We're then going to change the size here to match our viewport. So 1280, 720. Now the white space matches, our game layout will match now what the user sees at any time. Next, we're going to add the background. So we're going to right click and insert new object. Navigate back to the tiled background, and we're going to call it background. Select insert. Now click your mouse, and using the file load images, which is where we'll use at all times, navigate to where you've saved your open sprite file. So I put mine on my desktop. Let's see here. Oh, sorry about that. So navigate to your asset folder, open up your image file, and find background. Select open. Now we can close this and see we have now a little block. However, we can change the size. If we select the object over to the right, here we can select so we have 1280 by 720. We're going to change the position to 0, 0, and this will put our item in the left-hand corner or to the full size of our screen. Next, come over to layer 0. We're going to rename this. So we're going to rename it to background. Press enter, and then select your padlock. This will prevent us, when we're moving or dragging objects, from moving or dragging the background. Now right click, add layer at top. We're going to call this main. So this is where we're going to put our objects, like our characters, floors, platforms, all of those items. So anytime we do insert objects, make sure this layer is selected. Next, let's add our main character. So go to your layout, right click, insert object. All objects in our game will be called sprites. So we'll go to sprite, we'll call it flip, go insert, now select. So you'll have to go through that process anytime you select an object. Go back into your folder and find just the flip, so the stationary standing object. Now we can zoom in. What we need to do is assign now the point of reference that they look at. So the computer is identified now. When we refer to this object, the computer is really going to be referring to this crosshairs. So if we right click on origin, quick assign, just double check that it's right in the middle. So select middle, exit off our screen. Now with flip activated, we're going to go to the left. So these are all the properties, the rules of this character. So if we navigate down, let's go to behavior. Here we're going to tell the computer how to treat this object. go down to platform. You can also search up here, platform. Select and add. Exit. Now Flip will have gravity. So if we were to run this, you're going to see he'll just fall. So without anything to support him, he'll go off screen. So next, let's support him. So we're going to add a ground object. Again, sprite, call it ground, select, object. This procedure will become pretty repetitive soon, and you'll get through it much quicker as we go along. Select their ground, open. Now the image point that it's referring to is right here. So what we're going to want to do is adjust it so these crosshairs are in a different position. So if we quick assign, we want to go bottom left. Now when we refer to or set it with our point of origin, it's going to look at just these crosshairs. We're going to position, so in the properties panel here, 0, 720. Will automatically perfectly position it here. However, it's still not done. We want the computer to treat this as a solid object, so nothing should be able to pass through it. If we go to behaviors and add a new behavior, type in solid, add, and exit. Now, if we launch our game, Flip will now have somewhere to land on and won't simply pass through. Next, double-click Flip. We're going to add some movement and animations. So on the right side here, let's start by renaming this default. Next, add 3 more animations. So our first one, we can call jump or walk. We'll start with jump. Next, we'll add a new one called walk. And lastly, we'll call one fall. Now go back to jump. Down here, if there is movement, if we're trying to simulate movement or the changing of an object's image, we're going to go down here. So you're going to right click, import from strip. So you have to do from strip. We'll navigate to our folder, find flip, jump. So what you see here, we have 3 images. We'll open. Horizontally, we want this to be split 3:1. Go import, then right click and delete our first blank cell. All right. Next, go to walk. Same thing. Import from strip. Find flip walk. This time we have 8 objects. Import, delete our first, and you'll see here now we have 8 separate images that simulate a walking. What we're going to want to do, activate your walk. We want this to be looped. So as it's going through, as our character is moving, it's going from frame 1 through 7. After 7, we want it to go back to frame 0. Okay, so this is the only one that we will do that on. Okay. Now we can exit off here. We have our animation set. Next, we're going to go to the event sheet. This is where we're going to start programming and telling our computer what to do with the objects that it sees. So we're going to add event to start off. Select flip. Best way to do this is search up here. So on moved. So when flip is moving on the platform, how do we want him to behave? So we're going to go flip, set animation, And here's important. What I would tell you is put just this, then all of your pre-programmed animations will come up. Just double click. Select done. Now we can move our character. Our animation effects will work. Next, add event, flip on stopped, flip, set animation, default. So when he's not moving, he'll stand still. The default will activate. If he is moving, the walk animation is going to start playing through. Now, if we go to, next we got to control him. So if we go over to here, select object and just right click and add new object. Type in keyboard and select the keyboard. Now we can start programming our keystrokes is to do what they are. So you can use up arrows down or WASD, whatever you prefer. So add event. We're going to go keyboard. Now this is important. Key is down. So this object here, select key to choose. So click here and then select your key. So I'll do you can do the arrows. I'm going to do the WASD. So I'm going to go D, press OK, select done. So when the keyboard D key is down, we want flip, type mirror. We want him not mirrored. So by default, he's facing to the right. If we're going right, that's how we want our flip to be perceived. Now I'm going to show you a quick way to do this. So if we have a similar thing, keyboard D is down, but we want a different one. If you select the whole thing, so it's like press Control, holding down Control, we can click and we can drag and duplicate this. So it should work here. There we go. So now we can go and change just these few elements. If we go D is down, so go A, select, go A, done, select here, and we want this one mirrored. So if you have some code that's repeated, like we've done in Python, and you can select the code, hold down Control, drag it to duplicate it. So now if A is down, if it's going to the left, this image is going to mirror. It's going to flip around. Next, add event. We're going to go flip. Now we're going to program for when he's jumping. So we're going to go flip on jump. Set animation, and then jump. Select done. Next, we're going to do an event with a sub-event. So this is kind of like our functions with if statements below it. So we're going to go flip on landed. Now off of this, we're going to add a sub-event. So it's if he lands and he's doing one thing or else the other. So we're going to have an if else below this. So we're going to add a sub-event. We're going to go flip. Platform is moving. So we can just go is moving. So if he is falling and he lands and then he's moving, we want to set our animation to walk. One way we can do this, if we come up here to just this section, this is exactly what we need. So just like Python, copy paste where we can. And click, holding down Control, you can click. Oh. So select this, holding down Control first, click, and then you can drag this down. So you can copy this over. Now, select line 7, hold down Control, and drag below. So we gotta have it. So if Flip is moving when he lands, animation walk will play. If Flip is, now we can right click and invert. If Flip is not moving when Flip lands, we want to set our animation then to default. So we want him to just stand there. Select Done. Next, add event, Flip on fall. So if we go on fall, platform triggers, we want Flip's animation to be that fall animation that we programmed for. And finally, our on start of layout. So this will fire at the very beginning of our game. So we're going to add a system on start action flip and set animation to default. So you can go through these steps, or as we've explained already, here we have that line, set animation to default. Sorry, here it is. Hold down Control, click, and drag. We also want Flip to be on the top layer of our game. So to do that, we're going to add an action, Flip, move to top layer. Okay. And finally, go back to your layout. So here we have layout 1. Let's add a platform. So we go to Sprite, call it platform, select, go to your file, find the platform, open, close, and change the behavior to be solid. Now, if we put our platform over here within reach, go ahead, launch your game. Okay, so when I launch mine, there's a little glitch. Let me show you what I did. So 2 things. This I will toggle back. So if you remember, I forgot to drag our last on start event to the very top, or on start of layout. And then you may have remembered, but I didn't, on my fall, I simply forgot to put my image in. So if yours is glitchy, check to see that your image is there. Now that everything's fixed, yours should look like so. So you should be able to move to the left with them shifting or mirroring to the left, mirroring right, jump and land in the default position. And if everything's solid, it'll be there. And then if you jump off, nothing happens because we haven't programmed it yet. That is the end to Flip introduction.